Welcome to the No Show Sportscast. Face-off, kickoff, tip-off, first pitch. Good morning. The Vancouver Canucks find a way to distance themselves at the very last minute, separating them from the Calgary Flames, a 3-1 lead most of the game, separating themselves enough at the end, 3-2, and then 4-2 empty netter. Pettersson, Zadorov does most of the work and get the win. Game winner by Zadorov. Elias Lindholm is not, that goal is not going to be enough because the Canucks end up on top. They find a way to get a very, very important win. My opinion, a must-win game to keep the optics of a good team, because the Canucks, they've been slipping. They have not been as good as they were to start the year. We've talked about this before. 14-6, 14-7. Now we're looking more like a 500 team that the Canucks are probably going to be for the majority of the rest of the season. With that huge start, and I mean absolutely critical start that they had to have. You had to have a good October. You had to have a good November. And that's exactly what the Canucks have been able to do. They've been able to ride this thing, get it going a little bit more, beating up on, some good teams. And now they're able to beat Calgary. I knew they needed to do that because they had been struggling. Seattle, San Jose, coming into here, a disappointing and ugly loss to Vegas on Thursday. But Saturday night, they're able to pull away and distance themselves. And this is going to be like all year. Playing against Calgary, you're going to have to be able to take these guys down, and that's exactly what they do. So it's awesome to see that. But yeah, like I say, they've been slipping. Nikita Zadorov, first game, gets that winning goal, which was an empty netter. And then Lindholm decides that, he didn't even celebrate. He didn't even react. It seemed like he didn't really even care about the 4-3 goal. There was still a minute left. Like, he could have done something. He could have gotten a little bit closer. But that didn't really matter at the end of the day. Zadorov is doing his part, being that physical force, being the guy that every team wanted. Every team wanted this dude. And you don't need offensive scoring. You've got Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes just notched his 9th goal, and he has now, in 25 games, a career high in goals in a season, because it was 8 2 seasons ago. Last year, he only had 7. This guy is just... He's going to be on the top 25 goal scorers of the year now. That's where he's headed. Not that he's going to score 30. He'll probably get 20, so around 22, maybe 23. I think that's kind of a reality check for him. But it's December 3rd, and he already has a career high in goals in a season. That is the best thing that you can want from your captain, from what they're getting from him, as well as Miller. The first year of his contract, they're finally getting the Miller that we all thought we paid for last year, but we didn't see him at all. He was invisible. Demko has been shaky as well. He was unstoppable to start the year. He had like a 1.5 goals against average, a plus 950 save. Gets it done, obviously. That's the most important thing that you can get out of your goaltender. But against Vegas, that's just a completely different story, because they were struggling. They were shaky. And he looked a little bit discombobulated. I'm thinking of the first Elias Lindholm goal. He was almost facing the net. He almost had his back to Lindholm. And that's not something that you want to see your goaltender. You never want your goalie to spin out of control like that. I was a goalie for 4 years when I was in high school. And I was never in a position where my back is facing the forward like that. But again, just being shaky, that's not indicative of him being less of a goaltender than we know he can be. This is just the stretch that he's in right now. And there's plenty more hockey to go, and there's plenty more that he's going to have to do to prove himself. Again, the most important thing is that win, and that's all we can ask for. Let's not get greedy, all right? All you Canucks fans, just be patient and relax, and know that this guy is most likely going to be giving you flashes of what he had at the beginning of the season. That is what you're going to be seeing most of the time. So, as far as the NHL goes, we've got lots of hockey from Saturday. into this week as well. We're going to be covering more of what the Canucks get up to into the week and into this upcoming Thursday as well, of course, because the Vancouver Canucks have a very, well, it's going to be challenging. Let's just say that. It's not familiar territory. It's not Vegas. It's not San Jose. It's not Edmonton. We've got New Jersey and then Minnesota, the Hurricanes, and then the Lightning come to town. So they've got a nice homestand, that is. It's not your average run-of-the-mill Pacific Division types of teams. So we've got a good challenge coming up, and that's exactly what they need. In the National Football League community, lots to talk about. My goodness, the biggest game. We were all kind of expecting this to be, well, ever since the playoffs, ever since January. So, 11 months ago it's been? I don't even know anymore. San Francisco versus the Eagles. The NFC Conference Championship game where Brock injures his elbow and he doesn't get to finish the game. Keeping that winless, keeping Seattle being able to be winless in these huge conference games, but keeping Brock looking like a squeaky clean record up until then. A few bumps, because the Eagles have been exceptionally good. They've been, 10-1, as you can imagine, from a 10-1 team. Meanwhile, the 49ers, they're now 9-3. And the Eagles are 10-2. 49ers played their butts off on Sunday. They did exactly what you would want them to do and exactly what they thought that they were going to do. And the Eagles looked shaky. They did not have the best performance that I'm sure they're going to bring, because I'm sure they're going to be seeing each other again in the NFC Championship game. Unless the Cowboys have something to say about that next week, but that's a whole nother thing. So Jalen Hurts, this guy is being held in the pocket. He's having a great, good old time all day. He's very excellent when he slides over to the right. He goes down over to the sideline and contorts his body. He's able to get a nice throw. That's usually what happens when he's scrambling, if he's deciding he's not going to go run for it. And he's getting a lot of that ability because he's got Lane Johnson, who returns to form. As soon as the game started, I saw is Lane Johnson guarding Nick Bosa. These two are going to be going at it like rams with their horns, biggest horns you can imagine here, or like bucks ramming their heads together. And that's exactly what they were. They were charging at each other. And Hurts, I think, had a lot of time, but the defense for the 49ers played excellent. There weren't any turnovers. There weren't any forced fumbles or interceptions, but the 49ers did a squeaky clean job, I think. That defense is going to continue to play well like that. The offensive line for the Eagles is going to continue to give Jalen Hurts time like that. But Lane Johnson guarding Nick Bosa, it gave Jalen a lot of time to throw. But he played like he has been playing all season, and that's maybe not as good as he was last year. But I think that 10-1 winning ways that the Eagles have had, there hasn't been as much urgency that a team like the 49ers has experienced, because they had that adversity when they lost to the Browns, and then they lost to the Vikings, and then they lost to the Bengals. So they've been through that. They've discovered what it means to get to where they are, having been through some adversity earlier in the season. So, the defense and the run game for the Eagles, it was invisible. The 49ers played the game of their life, okay? But I still think that the Eagles are better than the 49ers. Why? Because McCaffrey, he's going to play like that. Kittle, he's going to play like that. But is Brock going to play like that? When they see each other in the NFC Championship game, is Brock going to throw it for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns? I don't think so. Deebo Samuel is not going to play like he did. Okay? But there are guys that you can rely on. But there's more guys to me that I think that you can rely on from the Eagles. Hey, have the Eagles finally met their match? Are their players finally playing against elite defensive units that they shouldn't be ignoring? Hey, you haven't been playing against a great defense like this ever, okay? Recognize the 49ers are different. But as far as I'm concerned, the biggest glaring problem is Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel. I would rather have the offensive weapons that the Eagles have, and you do not have to have covered the sport for 20 years or have been a coach or have played. All you need are eyeballs and a laptop to be able to see that Deebo Samuel is extremely overrated. Okay? This dude's numbers throughout his career have been a roller coaster that's usually going down. It's one of those roller coasters. Because the dude has not been at his best like he was a couple of years ago. Last year, he was invisible. He hasn't even been consistent as a receiver. And just because you run the ball, that doesn't make you elite as a wide receiver, okay? That doesn't make you an exceptional player. Yes, he has been that, and he can be that. He has the potential to be. Maybe this isn't an indictment on him. Maybe it's an indictment on his usage. Because the joke is, oh, he does everything. Well, so does basically everybody else on this team. So does George Kittle. So does Christian McCaffrey. Okay, that's what you have to do to be a different team. And the 49ers are that different breed. Last year on October 3rd, Troy Aikman said that Deebo Samuel was his favorite player in the NFL. Now notice my wording, I say was, because I want to give Troy the benefit of the doubt here. I don't think Deebo's his favorite player anymore, because since that game when they played the Rams and Deebo had like over 130 receiving yards and a touchdown, he made a great play over Jalen Ramsey. Maybe you remember that game. The guy has maybe 2 moments where the NFL is going to go out of their way to make a video just about him, and that's it, and that's all we hear from him. And then we just assume, oh, well, if I haven't been watching the 49ers, well, I assume he's just doing amazing, great things all the time every week. Haha, when the NFL doesn't make a video about him. But that is not happening. That's just not happening. Because Deebo is overrated, okay? I'm not just talking about what the comment sections has to say. This guy is, if anything, he's overrated because he's criminally underused. Okay, Kyle, figure that out. Figure that out, Kyle. Let's figure this out. Because the 49ers can go there. I don't know which team is better. I don't know if it's the Eagles or the 49ers. I just think it's the Eagles, okay? That's what I think. But we won't know. I really hope that they play each other again in the NFC Championship game. But the Cowboys are they're probably going to beat up the Eagles on Sunday now. Like, let's be honest. That's what we're all going to think now because the Eagles have bullet wounds now. But it doesn't matter to me, okay? It doesn't. Because there's plenty of other games in the NFL, and my goodness. Are we, oof. The Patriots and the Chargers, 6-0. So, on Saturday, there was, an 8-2 game, a 6-3 game. The Carolina Hurricanes, you know what's like really weird about hockey is that a goal is a goal. And maybe this is what's more weird about football. So like a score isn't a score. You can get a field goal, you can get half a score. But in hockey, you either get a goal or you don't. And this is how terribly bad the Patriots and the Chargers game was. Imagine like a hockey game, the final score is like 1-0. But even like a 1-0 hockey game, I feel like that's a little bit more seldom than a 6-0 football game. Or maybe a 6-0, maybe they're equally as seldom. But it sure seems like I've never seen a 6-0. Because what I'm saying about this whole half goal thing is that the Patriots didn't even get a half a point. That's how bad they were. It feels like they lost a game 1 to half a point. But they didn't even, it would have been even worse. Imagine if a hockey game finished 1 to 1.5. Or 1 to a half. That would have been more impressive than this performance by the Patriots. They didn't even get half because they didn't even get a field goal. And you don't even have to get a legitimate score to get a field goal. That's how terrible this Patriots game was. But it's hilarious. And there's no way that the Chargers can be satisfied with this performance because the Chargers have been terrible all season. And at 5-7, there's no way that they're thinking that they are now in an excellent position because the AFC is extremely hard to get into the playoffs. They can't be actually thinking that. The Patriots, meanwhile, are going to be looking for a new franchise QB next year. We're not going to see Mac Jones again. We'll see Bailey Zappi, most likely. But I want to read some of the comments on this video. So, an amazing shootout that came down to only a 6-point difference. Needlessly running up the score with that second field goal. A sweet nostalgic touch from the Pats, combining their throwback uniforms with throwback results. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. I'd never thought there would be a game worse than Patriots versus Giants. Somehow there was. Wow. This was one of the games of all time. That's exactly what happened. Such a great game. A candidate for Game of the Year. Yeah, this was something else. This really was. And kudos to Spirididis for at least trying to make it appear to be interesting, even though it clearly wasn't. Just like the New York Jets, they're probably the most unbelievable football team that I've seen in a while. So the Jets are on notice. Aaron Rodgers is not coming back this year. The Jets are 4-8. They look absolutely terrible. They can't make plays. Breece Hall cannot run. And there is no way that Aaron Rodgers is going to fix this team single-handedly next year. Can you actually say that he is the only problem with this team? This team has a slew of problems, and they're going to have exact same results next year if they don't address them and think that Rodgers' absence was the only problem and the only thing that we need to make sure is fixed for next year. There is no way. There is no way. Because the Jets are an awful football team. All right, DJ Reed? They are an awful football team. No 86 Bears. No unstoppable offense. Breece Hall cannot run. Okay? Alan Lazard cannot catch the football. Randall Cobb is Jasper the freaking Ghost. And Robert Saleh is a Sphinx. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to draft a QB. He's gonna sit next year. Rodgers is gonna play. Rodgers is gonna retire, and Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, whoever is gonna take over in 2025. There's nothing else for the Jets to do. There is nothing else. This season is over. It's gone. Aaron Rodgers, thank you very much. Nice to see ya. And also, There's no way he was going to be cleared either. It's easy to see that Aaron Rodgers is getting whatever he wants. I completely understand he's getting whatever he wants. But there is no way that Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas are going to allow him to play this year when you're 4-8. 5-7? I don't even think so, because the Chargers beat them 27-6. That's if they beat the Falcons this year, but they did not. They didn't even get close. So put the foot down. No. Aaron Rodgers, why don't you just be a coach if you want to boss a team around? Boss a team around and do it somewhere else so that you don't have to ruin the Jets in the meantime. I want to see you play next year, but I don't want this to be at the cost of everything else for your team. Because your days are numbered, man. Happy delayed birthday, but your time is over. And the Jets' time, they thought, was just about to begin. It was just about to begin. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Football is whack. It's just crazy. It's whack. LeBron James was looking more forward to the Cleveland Browns game. They're coming into the Rams. They're coming in here to Los Angeles, showing up, and Joe Flacco is your quarterback now. You've been through 4. Is that the magical number for the Browns? 4 now? He doesn't even care. He doesn't even care about getting ejected against the Rockets in that game because he has more time to rest up and get excited for that Cleveland Browns game versus the LA Rams. Woo! Oh, the joy of that. That's gonna be exciting, huh? Ime Udoka. I can't even Google your name because I don't know how to spell you. I don't even know how to spell you, man. What is going on? Not to mention, I'm sorry, Ime Udoka, but when I Google you, first thing I see is 0.7 points per game in college. That's the first thing that pops up. Fortunately for you, though, you're older than LeBron. So, bad-mouthing him, well, screw you, okay? Honestly. Like, kudos out to LeBron for handling this like a man and being honest about that stupid in-season tournament because the NBA is just, they're not even sure what's happening. They don't even know what this is. No, the players don't even understand. The broadcasters don't even understand. It's just a big joke. But anyway, Deion Sanders, Sports Illustrated. So this guy, Deion Sanders, the coach of the Colorado 4-8 Buffaloes, won the Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year. Sports Person of the Year? Oh man, as Sports Illustrated are they just like a controversy company? Is that their motto? We are a controversy company, and this is just not a fair comparison to begin with. It's not a fair comparison, okay? They just want to get the pot stirring. They just want to go like this and get everybody to jam at each other, to battle it out, because what we need more in this world in 2023 is division. We need more people to combat each other. We need it. We need division. That's the best thing that we can do. So let's just do this. Okay, hey, I got nothing against Deion Sanders. I'm sure that he helped out the NCAA this year with just ratings and popularity and making it exciting. What Eminem said about Kendrick Lamar 10, 15 years ago was that the guy makes rap exciting, and that's what he loves about him. So, hey, if you're making sports exciting, then good on you, mate. But Sports Person of the Year, let's just get past everyone disagreeing about this because there's all these other candidates, right? Because he's a coach, sports person, that requires the word play. We required the word play, okay? Djokovic, he's a tennis player. Lionel Messi plays soccer. Nikola Jokic plays basketball. There's a playing aspect to it, okay? Deion Sanders is on the sidelines. He's coaching. He's not doing any of that. He's doing the passive administrative work, okay? For lack of a better term, okay? The big, massive part, Deion Sanders for 2023 Sports Person of the Year, not to mention how vague that is. Sports person, come on. Honestly, what is going on here? In 10 years, AI is going to qualify as a sports person. So let's just cut it out and establish what we're doing here and not be vague about it and reduce how inclusive this word is. Let's get past all of that. But on the verge, of course, of college football, Florida State does not get in at a 13-0 perfect season. So college football is looking more and more invitational. That's what it is. That's what it looks like now. It's invitational. And this year, like I'm mentioning about the exciting factor, there's been that exciting factor, but there's also been a lot of drama. I don't know if there's ever been a college football NCAA season that's had as much drama because there has been a plethora, an outpouring, an absolutely immense amount. And it's clear to me. It's very lucid. It's very indicative of the season that we've been able to watch, that we've been able to see and enjoy, right? Now, Kirk Herbstreit said maybe Jordan Travis's injury played a role by what the committee decided to do. And hey, I completely understand that, okay? But the first thing for me that I thought about was, okay, so say Florida State does get in, and they're one of the 4 teams that are in the CFP semifinals. What you've got to notice when you think that your team is the one that deserves to go in, whenever somebody is way up here, you have to think about, okay, well, who's being taken out? Okay? maybe this angry fan base, maybe it appears that, Florida going 13-0, maybe there's a deserving factor in there because the rankings are skewed. Is that what's going on here? You have to be more popular. You have to be more interesting. You have to draw attention to yourself, and people have to be talking about you. You need the currency aspect of it. But there's a lot here as well to dissect. Because now we're putting into question, are the games worth playing? But now we're all just going in circles, I think. For me, I think if Florida goes 13-0 and there's 4 teams, they're one of those 4 teams, who's getting kicked out? That's the biggest thing. Now you just got another angry fan base. It's impossible to fix because it's impossible to make every fan base on board with this. And it's been around since 2014. This has been around. This is just how the formatting is. But I would be surprised if they don't just leave this into next year. We're just going to go from one angry fan base to another if we kick out Alabama and we let Florida State in. There's just so much going on in here. And hey, Kirk leaves an excellent point. It's true. There are factors in here. There's viewership. It's a business. It's unfortunate. It sucks. But this at the same time is a big deal. Like I say, there's no way it's going to go unnoticed, right? Something has to be done. Something has to change. But I still don't think that this can be perfect because all humans know to do is to disagree and argue with one another and say that I'm better at this and I know what's going on. But there's also improvements with that, and that's the good thing to look forward to. And the last bit of news, if Ohtani gets traded before Thursday, I will make a video. Because Friday morning, we'll talk about it. News now, people are coming in out and saying, hey. Guess what? Shohei is going to be announcing where he's going to go. Some reports say that he already knows where he's going to go, and maybe he's just waiting for the right time. I don't know. Is December 4th or 5th or 6th, is there a special day in there for him? Is there something that, I don't even know. Do we even know enough about this guy to love him the way that we're giving him attention? We're giving him attention, but it's all from the baseball side of things. Do we even know enough about this guy? Regardless, I just want, wherever you go, man, whatever you do, we just want to see you play baseball, okay? I think it's going to be Wednesday or Tuesday. So, yeah, most likely probably Wednesday. Shohei Ohtani, you are coming over here Wednesday. You're going to be a Blue Jay, all right? Coming to the Toronto Blue Jays. Bro, let's get it going. Get here now fast. Let's do it. Awesome. Let's do it, okay? That's right.